Hello viewers, today I'm going to talk about world events. As you know, the obesity crisis in Canada and North America is becoming a pandemic. 26% of children between the ages of 5 and 17 are either overweight or obese. And that number is still growing every day. Sure, you may think we live in Canada and we're not as bad as America and we never will be, but we're getting there. Slowly, but we are getting there. But America has a 52% obesity rate. So that means half of the entire population in America is either overweight or obese. The obesity crisis needs to be stopped. That's why doctors are calling for smoking-like labels on unhealthy foods. I think if they took it to this next level, people would maybe start making better choices. Because the food we eat, most of it really isn't organic or 100% farm fresh, as you would like to think so. The only time you'll really get 100% farm fresh is from a farmer's market. But it costs 3 to 4 times more as food you can buy from the supermarket, so most people tend just to go to the supermarket. We also need more exercise. Schools should really make PE mandatory like it is in America and have it year-long for everyone. I think that would be great. And in America, you need PE to graduate. I know that for a fact. PE is required to graduate from high school. The thing is that the vice president of the company, Canada's food and nutrition company, calls it outrageous that smoking-like labels should be put on foods such as pizza, chocolate milk, grape juice, foods high in sugar and low in nutrition, high in sugar, salt, fat, and low or no nutrition at all. This is a growing problem and it needs to be stopped, so I completely support this 100%. I think it's about time that doctors have enough power to put graphic labels on food. Well, in other news, Sudan accused Israel of bombing a munitions factory in their capital. That was actual other news today. For reasons the media hasn't published yet, I don't know why, but they bombed a munitions factory in Sudan. But the actual true story will probably be released on the news tonight, so you should probably watch that. And other news in Canada. As you know, Amanda Todd killed herself about a week ago. Now, finally, they're thinking of bringing a service that's like Kids Help Phone, but it's completely private, and lets victims share their problems and how to resolve bullying. But personally, I really don't think that's the greatest solution. Sure, people are ashamed and embarrassed, but we have to put a stop to bullying. So if they made it that everyone discussed it together, I think this would really put an end to bullying. And no matter how much they say bullying isn't acceptable and blah blah blah, it still happens. They really have to toughen the laws of bullying. And they really have to draw a law for bullying. In other news, Syria is still going on their crackdown. President Assad is not backing down. No matter how much sanctions they put on Syria, no matter how many things they really try to do, he's still alive and still being terrible prime minister and still killing his own people mercilessly. And of course, the Gaza shell bombings by the Hamas terrorist government group. There is, well, an exchange of weapons fired from the Gaza Strip. This could perhaps provide an advantage or disadvantage in the upcoming elections for Israel and Palestine. Most people don't recognize Palestine as a country. That's why the Hamas group is trying to change this. Well, in other news, the iPad mini was launched yesterday, and it's supposed to come on in Canada on November 4th. It just looks like a bigger version of the iPhone, really. Nothing too special. Nothing really super great. Nothing super amazing about it. The only thing Apple has really left to do is do their Apple TV properly. Really turn that into a revolutionary service. Now, in other news, is that nurses and medical staff could actually be fired in Canada during the flu season if they do not wear a mask or get a flu shot while giving shots in beak with patients. They could actually be fired. And as you know, Remembrance Day is coming up pretty soon. But I think obesity rates really need to be looked at and controlled, because obesity leads to so many other problems in life. And it basically is an epidemic. It's going around like a disease, almost. Too many kids are getting fat because lack of exercise and poor diet. And mainly this would be the parents' fault, because if the parents are obese, good chance their kids will be in the future or are already. what President Obama has done in the US is that he makes it cost more for unhealthy soft drinks, which is a good thing. And he's taken the supersize out of America, which is, you remember if you've seen the film Super Size Me, which makes the drinks 3 times bigger than the 32 Oz, which is like 68 Oz, which is huge. So that's pretty much like 1.5 liters of Coke. And that's terrible. Obesity is a very, very serious problem and is still growing. And it needs to be stopped very drastically. Or too many people will die, especially in this generation. Too many young people will die early, and maybe even before their parents. Because back when your parents were alive in the 1930s and 40s, the standard of living was, well, not as great as it is now, but the standard of life was really good. That's why a whole bunch of people made it till the ages 100, 105, 95, 90. And this is because they lived in a time where there was no Doritos, there was no Lay's, there was no Big Macs, well, there could have been, and maybe Coke was just starting out. And people really weren't fat back then. There was barely anyone who was fat. But since 1986, scientists have seen the rate triple. And this has been the various introduction of video games, mechanized machinery, more junk food, and of course, America not realizing what kind of obesity problem they really are in. We are, as you could say, the lazy generation of North Americans. We're fat, we're lazy, we're stupid, and we're rich. Any little virus, cold, or anything we get, medication, antibiotics, doctor. What we're really missing is probably vegetables and fruit, and definitely water. Water is the magical liquid that can pretty much cure anything. And a lot of people get sick because of lack of water and drinking Coke too much. Water, as you all know, is essential for life, and our bodies are 65% water. And for our age group, we have to drink about 8 to 10 glasses a day. I'm pretty sure most of you aren't doing that. Maybe not even 1 glass a day. But things really do need to change in order for us to stop being fat. But the next generation, we pass on all these bad genes and terrible hereditary material because you are overweight and obese, you smoke alcohol. That really does terrible things to the child inside of you. That's why we're seeing more birth defects, more learning disabilities, more really everything that's bad because of these very problems and the world we live in. Thank you for watching, viewers.